What up, though? What it do? Nitty, D City, straight gritty, no pity. Let's get it, man. Late night, D City, kicking it with your brother Frank Nitty. Two T's like two titties. I'm bringing you a young man that got found not guilty. He got found not guilty and defending himself against an off-duty cop. Did he know he was an off-duty cop? I don't know. Don't really care. All this gunplay out here really scares me because people don't understand that everybody's life is precious, and everything shouldn't be solved. Every situation shouldn't be solved, or your first thought shouldn't be always to grab your gun or to use your gun. But this is the mentality that's out here now in the world. So I don't think there's no love out here in the world if somebody want to carry their gun to solve issues, because a gun don't solve issues. A weapon create issues. They don't solve issues. It can save your life, but it can open up a whole new door of new problems. So let's get it, man. Nitty D City, straight gritty, no pity. Rock with me, kick it with me, fade with me. Come kick it with your brother Frank Nitty. Two T's like two titties. It's gonna be short, it's gonna be quick, it's gonna be sweet, and I just appreciate you rocking with me, man. It said a man was shot. A man who shot off-duty cop found not guilty on all charges. Let's get it, man. Nitty D City, straight gritty, no pity.
"26-year-old Robert Soliz is now a free man after a jury ruled in his favor in a murder trial involving an off-duty police officer. Soliz and the officer, Sergeant Sean Rios, engaged in a shootout that left Rios dead in the lobby of a nearby Houston hotel. The jury sided with Soliz, who claimed self-defense, despite the lack of witnesses or video footage. The incident is well known in Texas as a case of road rage gone wrong. Soliz and Rios were both driving on Interstate 45 in Houston when they nearly hit each other. The two men had a brief verbal exchange before Soliz took the exit at Gulf Bank Road. Rios allegedly followed him to a nearby parking lot before pulling a gun. Unaware that Rios was an officer of the law, Soliz pulled out his own firearm. The two engaged in a brief shootout, which left Soliz unscathed and Rios with fatal gunshot wounds. However, instead of focusing on who shot first, Soliz's representation insists that Rios approaching him with a firearm made his retaliation justifiable. The jury acquitted Soliz despite the prosecution's attempts to discredit him. Despite the prosecution's best efforts, the jury ultimately believed Soliz's story following 8 hours of deliberation. Although there were efforts to disregard Soliz's gang affiliations, including a tattoo signifying his loyalty to the Lindale Park neighborhood, the prosecution still made mention of Soliz's appearance and manner of speech. Soliz's attorney, Paul Looney, acknowledged the prosecution's attempts to discredit Soliz on the basis of his looks, reports the Houston Chronicle. In the aftermath of the trial, Looney said, "There was an effort from the very beginning to make sure that the investigation was tilted and incomplete." He added, "They were counting on a jury that would not let somebody that looked like our client be acquitted of killing what turned out to be an off-duty officer." The judge made efforts to keep personal lives out of it. In an effort to level the playing field for Soliz and the deceased officer, the presiding judge asked attorneys on both ends of the trial to refrain from mentioning Soliz's affiliation with the Sauce Factory gang as well as Rios' personnel file from the Houston Police Department. The prosecution honed in on Soliz's actions after the shooting to build their case. Soliz fled the scene and neglected to call 911 after he killed Rios. He is also currently in jail for an unrelated crime. Kim Ogg, the district attorney for Harris County, pointed to Soliz's initial testimony as proof that he instigated the shootout. Paul Looney's client admitted on the stand that he fired the first shot in the gunfight that ended Sergeant Sean Rios's life, Ogg said. The law in Texas is clear that the aggressor cannot start a fight and then claim self-defense. The defendant's family and the Houston Police Department are now focusing on comforting Rios' family. However, Looney says HPD never investigated the officer, focusing all their efforts on discrediting Soliz. From the very first day, no evidence was ever developed that would show that there was not a self-defense in this case, the attorney said. HPD did not do any investigation of the deceased officer. They only investigated our client. And that's not how you do that type of work. Houston PD wanted to keep the investigation internal. Looney also mentioned HPD's outright refusal to call an outside agency to investigate Rios' death. Instead, former police chief Art Acevedo insisted on using the department's Special Investigations Unit, which Acevedo himself created in 2017. At one point during the trial, Looney had to leave the proceedings to his partner, Wade Smith, for health reasons. Looney was absent from the trial for months as Smith picked up where he left off. Smith asked Judge Ana Martinez to declare a mistrial on multiple occasions. All of his requests were denied. Smith pointed out that prosecutors focused on personality over actions. Prosecutors revealed aspects of Soliz's private life while neglecting to do the same with Rios. Soliz's attorney cited Rios' prescription medications and a recent divorce as possible contributors to his behavior. Soliz's acquittal reflects a growing distrust for law enforcement. A verdict like this is almost unheard of. Defendants on trial for killing police officers are, a vast majority of the time, convicted. However, Soliz's acquittal may echo recent anti-police sentiments in Texas and the rest of the nation. In Texas, specifically, distrust in law enforcement as a result of incidents like the Uvalde shooting in May of this year may have contributed to the jury's decision. Somebody accused of killing a police officer, that's considered the biggest sin a criminal could commit, said a professor of criminal justice and criminology at Sam Houston State University named Mitchell Roth. When you have a defendant who is not the poster child of good behavior, you think that would augur against him in a court case like this. However, the jury was actually from the second panel of potential jurors. The first panel was dismissed after too many people shared personal experiences with law enforcement-related violence. Houston PD also faced criticism for packing the courtroom with fellow officers, a common tactic when a defendant is on trial for killing an officer. Having law enforcement there created a David and Goliath situation, said Jed Silverman, president of the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. In my experience, a jury sees right through it. Notice any corrections needed?
Appreciate that. Real talk. I'm moving to Texas. Yeah, I'm moving to Texas, man. Texas seems like, hey, don't get me wrong. That's why I ain't never want to be in Ohio, never wanted to be in Texas. I understand that you can get the death sentence. Yeah, I understand that you can get the death sentence. But the law seems a little more fair across the board, man. In Michigan, all you can get, you could be a serial killer in Michigan, and all you're gonna get is the death sentence. I mean, not the death sentence, but all you're gonna get is life. They can't give you the no death sentence. unless they go by, unless they send you through a federal court, unless it's a Fed court, a Fed crime or something. But if it's a state crime, all they can do is give you life in prison. So imagine people that done killed 20, 30, even more people than that, man, finally getting caught up and just getting life. You know what I'm saying? Just getting life. But yeah, man, that makes you wanna see what's popping in Texas. Kind of fair across the board. Plus they got open carry. You know what I'm saying? They got open carry. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of smooth too. But yeah. I'm just talking mess. I'm just talking mess. It's good to see that. I hate that any death happen at all. I hate that any death happen at all, because every life is precious. But if you live by the sword, y'all know the rest. And that's just how I feel about that, man. If you live by the sword, you should expect to die by the sword. So it's no joke always trying to solve your issues or or deal with a situation, always pulling out a weapon. I just don't like that, man. I don't care if you legal. I don't give a fuck, dog. I don't really believe in all that. Who's legal and who's not. I think every life is important. Anybody got the right to protect their life, protect their loved ones. I just hate to see what I'm seeing in society now, to where everybody feel as though they gotta be armed. They don't feel comfortable outside, and every time they have an incident, every time they have a small minor situation, a disagreement with someone, it gotta be a gun drawn. I remember growing up, and my daddy or whoever, man, I may have seen, they may have road rage. We talking back in the 70s and 80s. They may have road rage or had a small disagreement, with another man, and it may got verbal. It may got nasty, but nobody never went and got a gun, nor did, if they had a gun, they never drawed out a gun to solve their issues or their situation, man. They allowed each man to say what they gotta say, and if you weren't gonna do nothing as far as putting your hands on that man or do something else, it was just that. It was just words being shouted out by each person, getting their doggone feelings out, man. And it seemed like now somebody always want to control someone else's voice. Like someone else can't speak their mind, or someone else can't get their frustrations off their chest because you want to use your weapon to control the situation, man. And I just don't think that's cool, dog. I don't care if you're legal or not legal. It's not cool to try to deal with any situation out here unless it's life and death, unless somebody done put your life in threat. A true threat, not an argument, not somebody saying they're gonna kick your ass. A true threat though. So if it ain't a true threat, I just don't feel as though it's necessary to always pull out a gun or draw your gun or just bring up the thought of a gun unless you want to play it to where it's equal on both sides. Just saying, man. Everybody have a smooth night on that thought. I just wanted to get that off. It wasn't nothing more than that. I seen it. I wanted to speak on it. I spoke on it. It's a done deal. Everybody have a good night. I thank everybody for showing up and kicking it with a brother, holding me down as y'all always do. I see you, Tony. I see you, Cap. And I appreciate y'all, man, holding me down. Real talk. Everybody have a good night, man. Nitty, D-City, straight gritty, no pity. CWG, rocks with me. Woody whoop whoop, daddy long stroking, you already know, man. Papa coming home. I'm at the back door. Let me the fuck in, yo. I'm out, y'all. Deuces. Have a good one, man. I'm out. Deuces.